The biggest impact right now in this new era that we are experiencing is the changing hearts and minds of the Cuban people. They, for the first time now, they see a light at the end of the tunnel. In terms of economics, obviously, most American companies now have what I call a Cuba plan. They're focused on Cuba. Some of them call it the last North American frontier, because Cuba offers a world of infinite possibility now when it comes to opportunity for businesses, from infrastructure to building hotels to manufacturing to telecommunications. So, I mean, the key here is now to go to Cuba and meet the people of Cuba and start exploring those opportunities. The potential for new businesses to flourish in Cuba, and for American companies, now that the U.S. and Cuba reinstated their diplomatic relationships, their potential is huge.
Look, I think everyone would agree with you on that. No one would disagree about the potential of this. But isn't there a very serious issue of infrastructure still? You need flights, you need seats, you need to get down there, number one. Then you need to have a place to stay. Then you need to have the sort of tourism infrastructure that allows visitors, whether it's you and I, or anybody else for that matter, who want to go there for a few days and go explore. There's a basic infrastructure that has to be put in place. How far are they from getting that done?
Look, this is part of what my company, Fuego and On Cuba do. We have a business enterprise called On Cuba Travel that offers travel-related services for American citizens to go to Cuba. And we have an issue now with hotel reservations. We have an issue now with airfares reservations.
What's the issue?
The issue is there's not enough capacity. However, Cuba and the U.S. just reinstated diplomatic relationships. They did not start new diplomatic relationships. There's about 59 treaties that were signed over 50 years ago that will take effect immediately as of today. One of those treaties is the fact that Americans airliners could fly to Cuba, and Cubana Airlines, Cuba state government-owned airlines, could fly to the United States. Right now, we have about 8 flights per day, all charter flight operations from Miami and a few cities in the United States. So, I mean, eventually, in the near future, in about 6 months, a year, maybe a little less than that, we're going to see American airlines flying directly to Cuba from major cities in the United States. We may see JetBlue, we may see Delta, and this is what we need. Now, we still have that issue. We still have the issue of infrastructure, hotel reservations, and so forth and so on. Things have eased down a little bit because of the Airbnb now be able to offer private rentals or private homes and so forth and so on, but still there's a tremendous deficiency. One of the issues that we have, we don't have enough rooms for hotel reservations for some of our clients, and we're sold out from November all the way to May of next year. And one of the reasons that I'm traveling to Cuba in a few days is just to see how we could discongest that issue.
I am sure that Starwood, the Marriotts of the world, and every major hotel chain, they don't have to listen to this interview to understand that there's going to be a market down there. How many of these groups, or have you spoken to basically all of them about building hotels?
To most of them. They want in. But we still have the issue of the economic embargo. Remember this,
That's a problem.
That is a problem. So now the next step, the U.S. and Cuba are now reinstated diplomatic relationship, and I'm happy as a Cuban and as an American that took place. But now the main issue is how do we focus and to motivate Congress to lift the economic embargo on the Cuban people.
Does the embargo have to be lifted first before any further movement takes place?
Unless President Obama starts exercising some of his executive power, which if he does, the embargo will be left on name only. There are certain things that the president could do, lifting the travel ban on American citizens, allowing hotels change to establish businesses in Cuba, and help, and cooperate with Cuban hotel operators to expand hotels.
Beyond the travel issue, there's the trade issue as well. Right now, there is an embargo with a few exceptions, such as medical supplies.
That is correct.
You have to have the ports, you have to have the ships, you have to have the people there, you have to have the skill sets. I mean, all these things cannot be developed overnight. What is the time frame if the embargo were to be lifted or relaxed? How long would it take to get that infrastructure up and running?
Look, the thing is, the Cubans have had the historical opportunity to see the transformation, what happened in Vietnam, in China, and in the old Soviet Union, in Russia today. So they have been preparing for this. Cuba, the Cuban people are highly educated. I'm sure, it's within it's within our reach. I mean, I'm talking about 2 to 3 years maximum before Cuba, we could see an infrastructure in Cuba that would support the flow of American businesses going into Cuba. Now, the Cubans are going to continue picking and choosing who to do business with. They're very skeptical. It's still the fact that the U.S. and Cuba normalize their diplomatic relationship doesn't mean that every American company is going to have the key to the door tomorrow. It's going to be a process.